Vendor provides basically servers and, infrastructure to get like into the system, such as, remote DRAC service. And then basically the customer has to basically provide the boot machine, or SaaS, software as a service. Vendor provides the OS app and applications, like Gmail and stuff like that, Dropbox. Platform as a service. Grid computing. It's basically, I take it you guys have seen Bionic, correct?
No, sir.
I actually have seen that.
Like SETI at Home operates with Boink. For one time, there was a distributed application doing like MD5 and SHA-1 rainbow tables over. Basically, they were using your computer, and then they would kick in as a screensaver, and you'd have a little slice of the computation, like IBM's grid service. They were doing COVID and cancer type of stuff. So, your screensaver donates a little time, time running on your computer to the grid, but you can, like scientific applications, use it. It's basically like distributed compute. It's just a fancy way of distributing computing through the cloud to like users' computers and or their cloud computers, your desktop, as well as other cloud machines to do compute work. So that's basically what grid computing is. Like, if you had a bunch of Raspberry Pis or whatever else, thousands of them around the earth, you can get pretty much the same type of results eventually too. $15 okay?
Sure.
Let's do it.
My voice is getting a bit hoarse. You've seen like the, BitTorrent type sync and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, thin client.
Had to block it before.
What, BitTorrent sync?
Yeah. Just people torrenting from their desktops at work.
I'm just saying BitTorrent sync is a little bit different, but it basically can copy. You can shadow clone folders. The other one too that you might find useful is Tailscale.
Tailscale. All right.
SSH.
So what? Just a cheap VPN?
It's like a cheap VPN with SSH.
Mm-hmm.
So the nicety of it is that, in more enterprise context, you can use it for Teams. So you use it to bundle of your Linux machines with remote admin, or, key vaulting, or if you fire an employee, you can kick them from the team.
I see. All right.
Yeah, it's like a cheap VPN to where they can get, you can force any SSH to go over VPN and at least have it logged and any authentications logged, and it's logged on the cloud as well as the machine. So if they try and delete and cover the tracks, then you got them. Virtualization, cloud, distributed computing. Centralized system, standard thin client applications. Distributed, basically, it's like a supercomputer or like Bionic or, applications on the cloud, and then each compute node participates, somewhat, and sends the data back. Why do you use DCEs? High performance computing systems, like you can take like CP or, Hyper-V, can basically, if any one of the compute nodes in the cluster fail, then basically the data is still backed up and still being processed, and then the AWS team can come by and just replace them as if they're blades. Basically, edge computing, it's like if you have like reverse proxies, some of those will be close to the edge, just like if you're trying to do like caching, or if you have like any content delivery service, they try and do that as edge computing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, IoT, everybody's done, light bulbs, all that good stuff. Good idea to do. I don't know if you guys have heard of Vanik freaking, correct?
Only from the Neil Stephenson novel.
Well, our good buddies at at Something Doesn't Exist Virginia, because the Soviets were doing it to them too, like Vanik freaking back in the days of CRT, the good old cathode ray tube. Despite being, TV sets being used to interpret light radio into images, you could also do the reverse. You could catch the stray emanations of them via radio waves and see what was on somebody's desktop. Fun. So you could see what applications were running on the computer and or read the screen. So basically they could point a dish. So that's why the Tempest hardening came out. To stop Vanik freaking, because basically you could just sit in a parking lot and gather data.
I thought you had to be pretty close, like a few meters.
I don't know what I'm saying, true to be speaking, I have no idea exactly what the capability of Vanik freaking was, but I'm just saying, like, some of the spy agencies had a thing to where if they could get in your parking lot close enough to your wall, then that was close enough.
Yeah, close enough to the wall. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, I have no idea. I don't know exactly. I know that it was within at least, maybe not 2 meters, but, could be within, a certain close bit of range. But basically, if they could sit out there in the plumber truck in your parking lot and just keep aiming the dish at people's computer screens through the windows or whatever else, that's why some places went all Tempest. And recently, there was an air-gapped malware that could make the screen blink. There were some that make like the screen blink, and basically, if you had a camera there, you could just record it on your cell phone. There's different, you know, air gap jumpers nowadays that, you know, if you're not keeping your antivirus code up to date.
Interesting.
You know, they can make the lights blink on the screen. They can make the hard drive go, you know, hum at a certain rhythmic pace to where if you just sat there and recorded, if you wanted it to load a file that you wanted to exfiltrate off of a classified system, you could just sit there and record the hum 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 of the hard drive or something like that. So there was,
LEDs would probably be more efficient.
hmm?
LEDs would probably be more efficient.
Yeah,
Some
that's
people
true.
were able to get data off of, router LEDs, activity lights on certain ports. They were able to actually download some data from them. They were fast enough.
Yeah, but basically on an air gap network, you know, the kind of computer that the DoD likes to put out in the middle of nowhere, they had a few stuff. There's like basically people would like put the malware on the stick and infect it, like, you know. It's like in the cyber espionage tools. I mean, it's less likely per se, but I figured I'd mention it just because, you know, it's in the area of emerging threats, especially if you have Uncle Fed as your nice, lovely client. There's been some talks about it, you know, kind of stuff.
Air gap networks like Stuxnet?
Or even, you know, not plugged into the network. Stuxnet was plugged into the network. Stuxnet was basically if there was Shodan.io back in the day, it would have seen that little thing there.
Are we talking about the Iran missile?
Well, Stuxnet was
The
used
uranium where it was moved
yeah.
in because it was an enclosed network, so there was no way to air gap it?
I'm just saying they had it air gapped, but it had it been connected to the internet, you know, you would have been able to see it on Shodan. But basically, they did a drive, you know, drop. Here's free drives.
Absolutely.
But yeah, here's like I said, a frameworks, but like they had some that would make like the screen blink, stuff like that. There's other Black Hat talks about like some of the nice little sneaky stuff that they can do to like air gap stuff by making like even though my computer screen, you know, looks normal, but it would basically like have a flash or something that would jitter in the background, and if you just sat there with a camera and recorded it with on your phone, then you could basically play it back and then like get all the flashing out of there, the hidden, you know, hidden flashes or patterns in there that the human eye can't see, but the computer certainly can, you know, exfil data over that way. I mean, they had like some stuff like that, you know. Like they've had hard drives that you can detect. USB Samurai, which, as I mentioned earlier, is like the Fang attacks or the other one. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff here, like that they have. So it's basically, that's the one truth of cybersecurity. It's always an arms race. So, I mean, there was some talks about it, like different ones would make the screen blink. Other ways, like if you, like Chinese spies or whomever else, like other people at like DEF CON had wrote it as a paper.